The night has come, it's cold and losing my control. Your light is gone, and lonely darkness fill my soul. I wish that you could save me from my isolation. It's way too complicated. Let's start this conversation. Let's start this conversation. We got no relation. I have come, it's cold and losing my control.
Welcome to Don't Whistle at Night podcast, where Navajo legends echo in the shadows. Darren and Dawn will guide you through the sacred fire of Native storytelling, where the old stories breathe, the unknown walks among us, and voices, long hidden, rise to be heard. And remember, don't whistle at night.
Hey, good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Tuesday night show. Into the night with me, your host, Sean Kelly. Good evening, Heidi. Good to see you. I want to thank you, Peter and Talk Radio 105.3 Mississippi, 107.7 New Orleans, for allowing me to give you two shows a week, Sunday nights from 8:10 to 10:10 p.m. Eastern, and from Tuesday night, 8:10 to 9:10, which is only an hour show, and today's only an hour show. Before I go on, tonight's guest, not guest, I don't have a guest, I'm sorry. Tonight's sponsor is my dear friend, Lacey McIntyre. Her husband's a painter, but Lacey just started her own cleaning business. It's called Laced with Care Cleaning LLC. It's here in Pittsburgh. So if you need your house cleaned, you live in Pittsburgh, give them a call. Her business is on the bottom of the screen here when you see it scrolling by. So also, right after my show tonight, got my dear friend C.L. Thomas, the Gateway Podcast. Her podcast starts at 9:15 Eastern Time. And she has never heard of this guy before, but his name is Timothy Shaw. And they're going to talk about satanic panic. Sounds interesting, you know? Sounds kind of like something that I think everybody should. Timothy Shaw, yes. Should go over right after my show and check her show out and see what this Timothy Shaw is all about, you know? Tomorrow I'm doing a pre-recording show with Angel and not Borley, but the lady, I'm sorry, I don't have her name right now. It's been a rough day today. But so I don't know when the show will be on. But so look in the future for me being on the lady show. And if I remember her name, then I will tell you later on into the show. Okay, so tonight I wanted to talk about, of course, I did not know what I was going to talk about tonight. Okay, that's who I am. That's what it's all about. That's who I am. And so, for some reason, I was looking on TikTok, and the first thing that popped up on my TikTok page or feed or whatever you want to call it, it like caught my eye. So, do I think it's a coincidence that this popped up right away? Was it reading my mind? Was it, giving me a tip on what I should talk about tonight? Hey, Kevin, good to see you. So, what popped up on this TikTok, and it's really really cool. You got to excuse me while I look at my because I had to keep putting it on my phone there. No coinky dinks. That is so true. But it says if you experience 10 of these or more, you're more spiritually awake than 90% of people. Okay. I don't know about you, but when I was reading through these, um, it was kind of interesting because I experienced a lot of them. And so I figure why not bring it up and see, everybody who's out there listening to, hey, Vet Girl, that everybody is listening to my show tonight. We're going to go through these. There's 20 of them, and see if you ever experienced 10 more, and 10 or more of these, because they say if you experience 10 or more, right, um, then you know you are 90%. You are more spiritual than 90% of the people that are out there. Now, if you don't, experience any of these things, you know what? That's okay. You know, maybe there are some things on here that you have experienced that you didn't even think of. And so it's like, okay, Kevin loves the topic. So, without further ado, we're going to go through the top 20. Now, remember, okay, whenever we go through these, right, if you get 10 or more, right, then you're spiritual. that's what I that's what I say. So here we go. All right, now I got to figure out how to so everybody can so I can read this. Okay, so the number one is now you can answer if you do or not. Um, you could say whatever you want to say in the chat room, yes, no, whatever. But the first one is seeing 1111 or similar constantly. I'm not really big on the 1111s. I mean, they pop up, every now and then. But I see all kinds of different numbers. I definitely see, different word sequences. Hey, Johnny, good to see you, Joan. And hey, Shelly Bradley. Hey, welcome. Good to see you. And so the first one is: are you seeing 1111 or other similar things? I see words a lot. I see numbers a lot, and different numbers, not just much 1111. So that's the first one. The second one, crying for no reason, and I do that. Oh, okay, Shelly says that she said, "Yo, pops." GP. Hey, thanks. Um, and the second one is crying for no reason. I cry all the time with no reason. Heidi says that her journey started with numerology and still to this day I'm blown away at times. So most definitely. No smoking, no good popsicles, buddy. But Heidi says that, but she is a crabby cancer, feeling all the feels. Okay. Joni cries for no reason. Shelley says, crime spirit is close to you. Thank you. But I do that sometimes. I'll be standing there at work. I'll be standing anywhere. Hell, I'll be driving in my truck going somewhere, and all of a sudden I start crying. Or if I watch some music videos, I start crying. But usually I just start, and it usually comes out of my left eye. I don't know what I mean back then. No, didn't do none of that either, buddy. Oh, Heidi does too. But it's what's really crazy about crying for no reason is just that I don't know why I'm crying. And people ask me, Sean, what's up? What's wrong? You okay? Blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yeah, I just cannot figure out why I'm crying. And so it's kind of mind boggling, you know what I mean? Kevin says it has happened time to time. But I don't know the reason why. Maybe if I find somebody on here, then maybe I'll have them on a show or something like that later on. But the third one is sudden waves of unexplained gratitude. Um, Never had sudden waves of unexplained gratitude. I have had gratitude before, feelings, but I don't know if they were sudden, though. Maybe they were, maybe they weren't. But it's kind of crazy that it made this list. Heidi says, I used to believe that crying was low vibrational, but definitely is a needed release of energy and very cleansing. I felt gratitude to the heartfelt of my soul. But it's okay to cry, guys. You know, it doesn't make you less than. It really doesn't. I cry all the time. In fact, if you don't cry, if you hold it in, it doesn't mean that hey, I'm a man. I have to. People think I'm weak. That's a bunch of bullshit. And there goes my internet. But you can cry all you want. It's actually like everybody is saying in the chat room tonight that it is a major release, and it's okay. Now, number 4 is knowing what someone will say before they say it. Ah, yes, that happens to me all the time. It's I know, and you know what? It pisses people off. And um, sometimes it amazes me that I can actually do that, but I feel bad when I do that. Now, Joni has been having some sudden waves of gratitude. That's cool. And Heidi has finished sentences. Kevin says, oh, yes, that happens to no one. Yeah. And um, did you ever figure out, people, why this happens? Is it? Now, you can say it's a gift, and it probably is a gift. So far, it's like a curse. It's a curse we know all this stuff. It's a curse that we can finish people's sentences. And the crazy part about it is that we don't know that we're doing it until we do it. I'm telling you, my family, my mom, even my brother, when I finish it, oh boy, they get pissed. Excuse my language. They get really mad. And but there's nothing I can do. It just blurts right out. Joni says, sometimes I can tell what people are going to say. And with people I'm connected with. That's true too, Kevin. So knowing what someone will say before they say, yes, absolutely. Absolutely. So I'm batting 4 for 4. And it seems like everybody in the chat room tonight is batting 4 for 4. Um, Number 5 is vivid dreams that you remember. Oh boy, do I have some dreams. I mean, it was like I was standing there. I mean, actually, it's like I had an out of body experience. And that's what I want to ask you guys while I go through this list. And, I'd like to hear some feedback. When we do out of bodies, okay, are we in a dream? Are we in dream state when that happens? Um, I don't know, because some of the dreams that I remember, the one that specifically, and this is crazy. Heidi says, yes, vivid like is actually happening, waking up exhausted. Yes, but here's the crazy one. This was a crazy dream. Um, to make it long story short, I was in my house. I was standing there at the door. And all of a sudden, I saw all kinds of different lights, fires, smoke in my backyard. And so I'm looking out my front door window, and I seen this Viking girl come running up the steps, looking at me. It was crazy. She was angry, and she left and went down the stairs and down the steps and went into the backyard. Then right after her, a Viking guy came running up. I mean, he was scary looking. I mean, he was pretty big, you know. And this, like, yeah, Kevin, it was all in Keller. And yeah, he wasn't too pleasant either with me. I remember, and he went down the steps into the backyard where there was a lot of smoke, a lot of yelling, a lot of different types of lights. It was pretty creepy. And I remember that I turned to my mom because she was sitting on the couch. I said, "We better call the police." And after that, I woke up. So that was like one of my vivid dreams I've had, and it's crazy. It was a crazy dream. I have many more. And the other one, okay, I'll tell you this one. It's really crazy. So in my yard, I went out and I looked out my back porch, and I saw a lion eating a human. Okay, killing it and eating it. Then my next door neighbor's yard, I saw a guy eating a lion. Yeah, my yard, the lion was eating a guy, and then my next door neighbors in their backyard, there was a guy eating a lion. And it was in Keller. I've seen it all. So my dreams are pretty crazy, man. Heidi says that she has had some UFO vivid dreams. Joni says, I don't know, but when I told you about the dream about my dad, when I woke up, I found myself questioning if my dad was alive. And um, I questioned myself too, because I remember a long time ago I had that dream where we're out of whatever. I saw my dad sitting at the dining room table. Now, he's been dead since 1986. And he was just sitting there. And I said, Dad, do you want a cup of coffee? And he wouldn't look at me, but he shook his head no. And this dream happened 3 times in a row, 3 nights in a row. I honest to God thought my dad was alive. And each time I saw him down in the living room, in the dining room, I'm sorry, at the table, um, he was just sitting there. And he looked like, you know, it looked like he was when he was alive, you know. Kevin says, your dream of who or what is eating who makes me think of the order of ranks in real life. Ah, interesting. And Shelley says, visitation dreams are freaky. Yes, they are. I like your interpretation of it, Kevin. That's pretty cool. But we got to move on here. Oh, hold on. I think that the reason why I'm in tune with people is because I am a good observer. And you know what, Joni? You probably are. And when I read that, I know you because I've known you for a while. And you're like a very strong empathic person, which I think is so cool. Um, so, number six, again, six it means like animals appearing at meaningful moments. And that has happened to me because when I was at South Park, I would meditate. And the meditation, the one time I came out, and there was a family of raccoons, the mom and like three little babies. Hey, Clematis, good to see you. And so when I came out of this meditation, there were three raccoons. No, four. The mom and the three babies. And they just sat there and looked at me. But I didn't meditate on raccoons. They just showed up. And what I mean about other animals, like the rabbits, like I'm sure they have different hutches in my yard. There's like four or five of them. Okay, and different types of birds, especially the birds. We have a lot of crackles here. We also have some cardinals, and then some hawks too. So it's like crazy. It's like we're in the Audubon Society here in my backyard. But it's crazy. But the ravens too. The ravens are huge. What was number six? Animals appearing at meaningful moments, especially the ravens for me. Okay, especially when I'm having a really bad day. The ravens are always around me. Three of them all the time, and they kind of make me feel good. When I see them, I just feel like I'm okay and that I'm protected. Number seven, old friendships fading without drama. And that has happened a lot. I have lost a lot of friendships. And it really bothered me for a very long time. I was wondering, why am I losing these people I am friends with? But I found out that, Spirit only puts people into your lives for a certain amount of time and for a certain amount of reason. And then when the time and the reason is over with, they go away. And that kind of helped me understand why I was losing a lot of good friendships. And I have never seen them again. Never. Kevin says in some cases friendships lasting, others faded. Yeah. Joni thought that the raven was evil. No, 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 Joni, not at all. The raven is not evil. Not at all. That's what the movies and magazines and whatever. Yeah, but no, they're not. They're 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 very spiritual animals. Birds, the ravens are. Number eight is the loss of interest in alcohol or numbing, which means you don't make that effort to go out to the bar, to the drug dude, um, and to get your drugs or going to the bar and getting drunk. You just don't want to do that no more. You're just more um, within yourself, complacent, I think the name of the word is called. And this happens to me all the time, and I get kind of mad, but awakening between 3 and 4 a.m., that happens every night, every morning, whatever. And I'm like, hey, girl, quote the raven, nevermore. Okay, Joni. But no, I do wake between 3 a.m. and 4 a.m. every day. And it's crazy. It's like I'm in a very good deep sleep, and then I wake up and I can't go back to sleep. And I'm like, why are you doing this to me, Spirit? Why can't you just let me go all the way through? Joni says it happens to her sometimes, and Heidi says often for her too. And yeah, sleep I often wake up at 333. Mine is 311, Kevin. Mine is 311 at all times, every night. I never get any sleep after you know, after 311. So I'm awake until about 5, and then I finally get sleepy again. Then I go back to bed. I go back to sleep. I'm weird. And here we go. And the number 10 is sensitivity to people and crowds. I hate people stuff. I can't deal with a lot of people in a room. I can't do it. I have a problem with it. I just feel like congested, like there's like a lot of people surrounding me. I just can't deal with it. Um, so I really watch what parties I go to or any outings of some sort. Even when I go on a ghost investigation, I only bring a few, not too many, because I just can't stand crowds. And that's who I am. I just can't. I couldn't understand because a long time ago I was a very people person. I needed to be involved with crowds and stuff like that. But as I got older and as time went on, and the more I went into my spiritual work, okay, I just can't deal with people hardly ever more. I just can't do it. Kevin says, yeah, feel the vibes from crowds indeed. Heidi says, I can't do lots of people. Even online, I can't do too many energies. So, Heidi is right about the energies. It's just too many crazy people out there with really some crazy energies that I just need to get away from, And Kevin dislikes crowds too. Okay, those are the first 10. Let me go down it real quick. Seeing 1111, crying for no reason, sudden waves of unexplained gratitude, knowing what someone will say before they say it, vivid dreams you remember, animals appearing at meaningful moments. Shelley says, sometimes it's a blessing. True, Shell, true. And then Heidi's kids can't either. Animals appearing at meaningful moments, old friendships fading without drama, loss of interest in alcohol or numbing, awakening between 3 and 4 a.m., and the sensitivity to people and crowds. Those are the first 10. We're going to go on break, okay? And then we're going to go 11 through 12. And Heidi will definitely like number 11. So I'm going to take a couple-minute break. When I come back, we'll go through 11 through 20. And then I would like to see that people could say how they did or what they thought and basically how many numbers they coincide with. So I will be back in a couple minutes.
Hi, and welcome everyone to Ethereal Encounters Unveiled. Today we are broadcasting live on the United Public Radio Network and the UFO Paranormal Radio Network, 105.3 on the Gulf Coast and 107.7 FM in beautiful New Orleans.
Hey, everybody, and welcome back to the second half of Into the Night with me, your host, Sean Kelly. Again, I want to thank UPRN Talk Radio, 105.3 Mississippi, 107.7 New Orleans, for allowing me to give you two shows a week, Sunday nights, 8:10 to 10:10 p.m., and on Tuesday nights from 8:10 to 9:10 p.m. So tonight is an hour show. But right after my show, okay, my dear friend, Miss C.L. Thomas, her Gateway podcast is on at 9:15 Eastern, I think it is. And she has Mr. Timothy Shaw. And they're going to talk about a satanic panic. Okay. So I think it sounds like it's going to be a very interesting show there. Also, tonight's sponsor is my dear friend Lacey McIntyre. She has an LLC, Laced with Care Cleaning LLC. Oh, Susan, don't worry about it for being late. It's okay. You're here. That's all that matters. That's all that matters, Susan. I'm very grateful that you are here. So, Laced with Care Cleaning. So, if you're in Pittsburgh and you need your house clean, look up Laced for cleaning. And if you want to get in touch with them, if you want to get in touch with her, please send me a message and I'll get the message to her. So we were talking about the 20 things that people could be 90% more spiritual than regular people. So real quick, I'm going to go repeat 1 through 10. The first one is seeing 1111 or similar constantly, crying for no reason, sudden waves of unexplained gratitude, knowing what someone will say before they say it, vivid dreams you remember, animals appearing at meaningful moments, old friendships fading without drama, the loss of interest in alcohol or numbing, awakening between 3 and 4 a.m., and being sensitive to people and crowds. Okay, so we're going to go over to 11, and this is like Heidi's big thingy. Okay, all righty. Number 11, synchronicities happening daily. Oh, yeah, synchronicities happening daily. I mean, I could have Heidi on for a show, and then we can talk about that for like 4 hours. I really had a hard time understanding what synchronicities were, but as I talked to Heidi and others about it, then they happened to me too. Heidi says, "Yes, love it," and he said it perfectly. Thank you, Heidi. Yeah, but it happens daily to me too. Number 12, 4 to 6 hours. 4 or 6 hours, okay. But number 12 is strangers opening up to you instantly, where somebody comes up to you and just starts talking and tells them their life story to you. I know that I work in customer service, and you all know I work in the seafood department, and you all know that I am a meat cutter. And just watch Heidi, everybody in the chat room, and she'll start doing her synchronicities, stuff like that. And it's pretty interesting. She's good with that. But strangers opening up to you instantly, and that happens to me at work a lot. There are people that I don't even know that have never shopped in the store before because I know the majority of my customers. And some of them I don't even know just come up and they tell me their life story. And they tell me, about almost everything. And it kind of bugged me it didn't bug me. I just didn't understand why people would just come up to me and start um, telling me about their life story. But people said that my energy is very high, is very pure. I'm not being egotistical when I say that. I've been told by a lot of people about it. And I guess people are attracted to people's energies. It's like 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 people are attracted to Heidi, Joni, um, everybody. They just come up and they start talking to you because your energy is awesome. And I guess the energy that you release from your body, makes people very comfortable, you know. Heidi says, I used to think, where do I know this person from? And I never met them before. True. That happens to Joni when she worked in retail. And Kevin says, oh my God, yeah, strangers will come up and talk to me like they know me too. Yeah, it's craziness. But you know what? Out of all the people who come up and talk to me and tell me their life stories, as I try I listen to them. I don't read, I don't talk, I listen. And I come to find out that listening is way better than talking, where you can just let the person talk. And then after they're done talking, you just smile and you say, okay, thank you for sharing that. And then they will that would put a smile on their faces and they walk away. And I really truly believe that's what empathic people do. Okay, is that we try to make people smile and we listen to them. Sometimes we don't understand what they're saying or where they're coming from, and we don't look at them weird or try to push off on them. We just listen. We just let them talk, and just, my gosh, when you let somebody talk, oh my, I mean, it's like they're in heaven. It's like they go to confessions. Sometimes I feel like I'm a priest. I don't know how you all feel, but when they get done talking with me, and it could be a minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, um, it's okay. I feel a bunch of gratitude with that. Heidi says, because we know how it feels. Okay, number 13. Oh my gosh, I think everybody can agree to this one here. Old wounds resurfacing to heal. Yes, old wounds resurfacing to heal. And it's crazy whenever there's a shift in the universe, if there's a shift in my progression on my path, a lot of my wounds, they definitely need to be healed, especially the mental ones, and I'm sure this is happening where people are saying, like, what the hell is this happening for? I would think old moods, or when people, hurt you, and they went away and they hurt you, and you think about when all of a sudden they come back up again, and you have to heal from the people who hurt you so you can continue on your path. That's why it happens to me a lot when I am progressing in my on my path. Hey Robert, good to see you, buddy. Heidi says, oh hell yes, because each time I come back to them I have different perspectives or knowledge of experiences. Yeah, I'm just glad that the damn wounds go away, so I can heal. And when I talk about it too, like he says, I do get a better understanding why all this has happened. And I'm just like, okay, I can't deal with this no more. This happened. So, okay, I'm just going to let it be. And I'm healed. I'll let it go. It may sound easy, but it really isn't easy. It's hard, but they get healed. Here we go. Number 14. Sudden ringing in one ear. And usually it's in my left ear all the time. Some people tell me that with the ringing in the ear, that means that your spirit guide or your angel is trying to talk to you. Now, I believe that, but with the ringing in my ear, it gets on my nerves, so I'm not really trying to figure out what the angel is saying. I just want it to go away. But the ringing, it happens all the time. And I guess it is my angels trying to wake my ass up on something. I don't know. But, and Heidi says, indeed, I've had either, but definitely not tinnitus. I don't have that. I don't have that at all. But I do get the ringing, and it drives me crazy. So is it my guardian angel? Okay. Is it my guardian angel? Or is it my spirit guide talking? Don't know. Joni says yes, and it's annoying. And Kevin says yes, that ringing I usually gets make me think someone is talking about me, and sometimes I can tell who it is too. Uh, that I have experienced that. Okay, now this is pretty cool. Number 15, knowing things before they happen, and that's being an empath. There, you know it's going to happen. You have seen it happen. And it's not so much that you've seen it that you actually feel like, okay, I'm standing in a place and all of a sudden I'm like, okay, a dog crossed in front of me, but I knew that was going to happen before it ever happened. And I believe that's part of being an empath. Okay, knowing something that's going to happen before it even happens. Maybe different people have different reasons why that happens. Maybe it's not so much um, knowing a thing before it happened. Maybe it's something else that happened. I mean, if you look at these top 16 that I have just read, okay, seriously, right? I mean, you could actually do a show on each and every one of these things, and but I have to really look into knowing the thing before it happens, and maybe I'll do some research on that. Maybe I'll do a show on that. Absolutely. And giving the benefit of the doubt already knowing. Yes. Kevin says, yes, predicting things or all looks familiar like deja vu, too. True. I got a lot of deja vu. Number 16, feeling everything is connected. I'm not sure about that one. I don't think everything is connected. Um, I believe that when you're into a situation to where A is really going into B and B going into C, and you say, "Oh, look at all these things happening around there. That they have to be connected. This and that, this and that." But actually, they're not. Hmm. Mary Schwartz says some people have really good spidey senses. They can feel the tug of the web of the time before others. Thank you, Mary, for sharing that. That is so true. Hey, Kara, good to see you. Don't worry. Don't be sorry that you missed the show today. But all you need to do is just check it out again. It's a pretty cool show. so forth. Now, number 17, I really like. Pull toward solitude and silence. And what was the last one, buddy? Feeling everything is connected. Don't be sorry. Oh, don't say that. All right, here's the deal. Every time that someone says they're sorry in this room, okay, you're going to have to put $1 into a jar, and we're going to have the sorry jar. So when everybody's sorry, okay, you got to put $1 in the jar. Just joking. But this number 17 is pulled towards solitude and silence. I'm like that all the time, you know, working around people, being with people, have to deal with people, dealing with banks, dealing with credit card companies, whatever. But I like my silence and I like being by myself, knowing that I can rejuvenate, that I can regenerate my energies and stuff like that. And yeah, Heidi, it's in the safe zone. And I love my alone time. And I guess being empath or work, with energies that you need that. You need to actually recharge. Absolutely, you need to recharge so you can deal with it again. But once you're in solitude, um, like mine's in my bedroom, that's where I get all my solitude. But that I get it and go to sleep, and I wake up and it's all over again. But that's okay because each need, and you might think this sounds funny or weird when I say this, everybody, but I know in the morning when the shit hits the fan, okay, then it just keeps me going all day long, knowing that I will be in my safe place. So it keeps me going. And Heidi cherishes those moments, yes. Kevin says, agree, Sean, to recharge, and if we go past charging, it's bliss. I don't even know what bliss is, brother. Honest to gosh, I don't. Um, Kara, alone time, whenever you go to bed, buddy. That's when it's alone. Let's see, here we go. Number 18, and this is where I'm okay. The loss of fear of death. I'm not afraid of dying. You know, I'm not, sometimes I want to know what it's like on the other side. Being in the paranormal field for so long and dealing with the spirit world, I think I'd be okay out there, you know. See, the way I look at it is for me, is for everybody, is that my body, my skin, my bones, it's just a shell. That's just a shell. My spirit lives within. So when I die, my shell dies, okay, and my spirit moves on. And it's not like that I am going anywhere. I will still be here in the area in which I like to be in. It's like, okay, I'm here, but my shell is not here. But I'm glad you said that, Kara. She said, I'm not scared of dying, but just dying without my children there. That's my biggest fear, Kara. And I'll tell everybody here right now, my biggest fear is dying alone with nobody around. That's mine. Okay, we got to get going here. Number 19, spontaneous joy for no reasons. I don't know, the way the world's going on right now, I do experience it, but the spontaneous of joy, there ain't too many. Not at all. Only if I find gold when I'm prospecting gold on my porch. Okay, and I think Heidi and Kevin and everybody, and I do believe this, knowing deep down you're not from here. Let me repeat that, the 20th. Knowing deep down you're not from here. And that's the truth. I never could quite understand it, but now I do. And I'm not from here. And I really don't know where I'm from. So those are the 20 things that could make you that you're more spiritual than 90% of the people. I don't know how people did tonight. How many they Shelley says absolutely. Heidi says I'm not too. But I just want to know how the people do. Seeing haunting faces in Buck. Oh yeah, me and Buck talk about haunted faces in Swiss cheese. Seriously, people, go to the deli and get some Swiss cheese and look at the haunted faces in there. It's like pretty cool. Buck, it's good to see you, brother. So good to see you. Kevin got 20 out of 20. I'm glad. So I'm going to pull a quick card because it is getting close to the witching hour for me. So I'm going to pull one card here for tonight, and I'm going to close up. So CL can get ready for her show. Don't forget, her guest tonight is Timothy Shaw, and they're going to talk about satanic panic. Okay, it really sounds like interesting. Really, really good. Hey, Cindy Coon, good to see you, love. Good to see you. Okay, so I'm shuffling the cards, and I'm just pulling one card tonight. And what people can do is when I pull this card and I put it out, I'll give you the definition, I think, by not reading the definition, but write it down, Google it, and see what the spiritual meaning is. And we'll go from there. Kevin says, I actually like my time on Earth, but I do think of other worlds. I know. Shelley says, great show. I'm glad I stopped by. Thank you. Well, I'm glad that you did too, Shelley, and thank you for the compliment on the great show. Okay, so here's the card, right? So I shuffle, I'm cutting, and the card I'm pulling, again, I pulled the porcupine, okay? And when I see this porcupine, I see this porcupine eating. Thank you, Kevin. I see this just like eating bugs, man. This porcupine's there, and then you got your coils up, and it's like you're protecting yourself from people on the outside. And thank you, Heidi. And yeah, the coils are sticking up, so you know that you can go on with your life, doing what you want to do, knowing that people cannot come around you and try to pull you away from what you're doing, because you're just going to lift those coils and zap them in the face. And that's what it's all about. Okay. Now, children, if you can, again, before I get in there, thank you everybody for being in the show tonight. I'm glad everybody enjoyed it. And I hope you got a lot of numbers on the 20 things that I just talked about. And children, if you can, please go to your parents, give them a hug, and tell them that you love them. And parents, please go to your children, give them a hug, and tell them that you love them. And if you have no parents, if you have no children, find someone, give them a hug, and tell them that you love them. Because those 3 words, I love you, they go a long way. Please remember, protect the children and follow your path. Follow your path. On that note, good night, everybody. Have a safe week, and I will see you next Sunday. Good night.